Hello and welcome to RWR Plays TEW2020. This is our local to global series where we're playing as the Random Wrestling Review, and we're closing in now on 2 years of game time for this save. And for those of you who watched the last episode, which I assume is most of you, if you haven't done, I recommend going back and watching it. Last episode was a little bit of a scramble, was a little bit of a momentary panic, I suppose, because our champion Michael Modest signed for the UWA in Mexico on a exclusive deal, which meant that we couldn't keep him any longer, and we needed to find a way to have him lose the title, which we did with this kind of amended card that we ended up putting together, which was that Michael Modest coming out telling everyone that he was leaving, demanding that tonight's main event happens immediately so he can just leave. The babyface agreed to the match. They then win that match with Blitzkrieg pinning Michael Modest, and Blitzkrieg then saying that he knows that Modest is leaving, but he hasn't beaten him in defense of the RWR title yet. So why doesn't he prove one last time why he thinks he's the best? And so then in the main event, Blitzkrieg defeated Michael Modest to win the RWR North West title, and the babyface celebrate with him the victory. That was the kind of place that we left everything on in the last episode, and then we had to kind of finish up quite quickly because it was all a bit sudden. Just looking through some of the news items, Tim White. This was the one that caught my eye. It just kind of gives you a bit of an insight into my mentality. Tim White may be on his way out of WWF, though through no choice of his own after the company decided not to renew his current contract. An absolute disgrace. Tim White should have been on the WWE roster forever, and I mean that in real life and in the fake world of TEW 2020. Now, apologies, you will be able to tell from my voice that I'm still struggling a little bit with the cough that I've had. I mean, admittedly, a lot of the episodes that I'm recording at the moment are around the same period, so it's not like I've had it for quite as long as it will appear to you. We are going to continue to keep up a kind of a schedule of 2 episodes a week, both Tuesday and Thursdays when we're bringing them out, and I hope to continue to do that for some time yet. So I think it's time for us to move on anyway to the end of the current month and go into July. I have been thinking about what we're going to do next, and I've made some notes as well. In a minute, I'm going to go through. In fact, now's a good time actually to go through the rankings. So let's do that now. So this is where the rankings are, following all the stuff that took place in the last episode. As crazy as it all was, this is where we now are. Blitzkrieg is obviously the champion with 6 wins. At current points 4. So Ed Moretti and Sean Stasiak are joint top in terms of the number 1 contender. So Blitzkrieg gets to choose which of those he will face next as the champion. Then we've got Ace Steel, Kid Chaos, Steve Batista, ECMO, and Buddy Wayne all on a point apiece, with Wellington Wilkins obviously having no points, having lost every single match that he's ever had in my company. So yeah, that's where we are. So I've had a little bit of think about what the next show will hold, and it will hold Blitzkrieg's first defense of the title, and it will come against Ed Moretti, his rival, which is a very, very lucky place for me to be in terms of Blitzkrieg having to be shotgun into the championship position, and then Ed Moretti just happening to be one of the choices I had for the number 1 contendership. So Blitzkrieg will face Ed Moretti in the next show. We're also going to sign somebody else to appear on the show, and I'm not sure who that's going to be yet, but I'm also going to sign 2 other people. And that is, as I've got plans for something a little bit different in August. I want to kind of do something just a little bit different, a little bit out of the ordinary for the promotion in August. First of all, to take advantage of the money that we've been able to make over the recent couple of weeks, but also to try and reset stuff because obviously that whole thing with Michael Modest was a bit of a surprise, and so we're kind of having to realign what we're going to do going forward. So let's just take a look at the 1st of July as we'll get to now, and we'll obviously get the half-year awards as well, so that'll be interesting. Wrestler of the half-year so far is Bret Hart. Company of the year is WWF. Team of the year, tag team of the year, Totally Tremendous, Atlantis and Blue Demon Jr. Match of the year is the Shawn Michaels Undertaker match at WrestleMania 13. Show of the year was In Your House from February. Young Wrestler of the Year was Shocker Veteran Wrestler of the Year, Ric Flair. I think he's won that every time so far. Female Wrestler of the Year, Akira Hakotu. And Independent Wrestler of the Year so far is Kengo Kimura. A new team in WWF here, the Crunchers, Bam Bam Bigelow and Tatanka. What a name for a team, the Crunchers. They sound like a brand of crisp. The growth of WCW. There have been heavy rumors of a planned spending spree by WCW, who are looking to expand into new markets. Clearly, there's something going on in the game where maybe WCW are ticking up to one size and then falling down to another size, and it's making these strange sort of vague headlines come up, as we saw a while back with WCW in apparent turmoil. Anyway, on to what we're doing. And I think this is going to be an episode where we only get one show in, because one event in, because I I've got to look at this. I've got to figure out who I'm going to bring in. So Bad Crew are the team that I want to bring in. I think I've decided I want to bring them in. Um, these were the two wrestlers I was talking about that are going to be signed for the next show. So we'll bring him in, and we'll bring him in. I think just the reason is because they're available, because they're cheap, and because they're not working for anybody else, which means that there shouldn't be any clashes in their calendar. But they've just been there, and I've just thought, a ready-made tag team for me to bring in. That sounds good. So the other person I'm going to bring in, I've been thinking about Christopher Daniels. We saw him. We were looking at him in the last episode. He is a bit more expensive, and I'm still not absolutely certain we're going to do that, which is why I need to have a look around and just see if there's anybody else that I think will fit the role that I'm looking to fill right now, because I do want another heel in the company. In fact, Bad Crew are going to be heels as well, so we're going to have quite an abundance of heels for the next show. But that's fine, because we're not going to use everybody on the next show. It's the following show where we really need that group. D'Lo Brown, no, 600 per show. Just looking for someone. Doug Basham's cheap, and he would be. Yeah, that might be a good one. He's only 26. He's a middleweight. I actually quite like the look of him. What's his talking like here? His microphone skills not good. Charisma not particularly high either. Maybe I'm rethinking it based on those things. Uh, who else can we bring in here? Eric Watts, maybe. Charisma's higher and microphone's higher than Basham, but he's too expensive anyway. Who can we? What I'm looking for is somebody who can kind of be the new main heel, I guess, because like Michael Modest was going to be that. That was my plan. I said right from the beginning, like Buddy Wayne and Michael Modest were just going to be the two guys that just went back and forth, locked in this feud forever, and we're not going to be knocked off course. And then obviously Michael Morris went and got himself signed, which is great news for him, but not such great news for my long-term plans for the company. So I'm kind of looking for a replacement for him. And Christopher Daniels feels like the best one I've seen, but he's just a little bit more expensive than I'd like. He's very good though, James Storm. Maybe I'm going to bring in James Storm. I think I'm going to do this. Let's get James Storm in. Okay. So I'm not going to say he's going to be the lead heel immediately, but I think he's going to be a good um, person to build up to that point and become the new Michael Monist. We made a profit of over $1,000 last time, which just reinforces my belief that the August shows we're going to do something different. And of course, September, then it's the second anniversary show. And I'm going to put all this in. First of all, I'm going to just change this to second anniversary show, because I'll forget to do it another time in the future if I don't do it now. So I don't know what the next event's going to be called. I haven't even thought about the name for it. Hour and a half, as always. We've kind of done like a new dawn and things like that, haven't we? We've done a change is going to come. We haven't done a new. I'm going to call this a new dawn, and that's obviously because of the victory, the Michael Morris's exit, and the victory for Blitzkrieg to become the new champion. So we've got 3 people we're trying to sign, and we're going 12 days until a new dawn. So that's what we're going to do next. So the thing I'm going to do in August is going to be called something like the Super Summer Tag Team Spectacular, and we're going to have an 8 tag team tournament over 2 nights take place in the company. And just got a signing here for the first of the Bad Crew guys, and there's Michael Modest leaving the company. So official confirmation that we no longer have Modest on the roster. Um, I'll advance here, but it won't take very long to come back because the other two will sign, I'm sure, today, which they do. So that's good. Then we move on. Yeah, so the Super Summer Tag Team Spectacular, which can be a 2 night tournament, 8 teams, which is why I'm bringing in Bad Crew, because they're going to basically, in the next show, cut a promo where they're introduced to the crowd and then say that they're here to win next month's tag team tournament, effectively. It was also why I've brought in James Storm to start looking at who's going to permanently replace Michael Monist. And I think with those three, we'll be up to 12 wrestlers, in which case we will need 4 more to complete the tournament, the roster for the tournament that's going to take place in August. I already have an idea of the kind of people I want for that. Well, at least 2 of them I have an idea for. And yeah, as I say, the tournament's going to be kind of like a little soft reset, really, where we're going to kind of we're going to conclude the feud between Blitzkrieg and Ed Moretti effectively at this next show. BCW have hired Wellington Wilkins on a handshake deal. I think that's fine. I think he can continue to work for me. I will just check. Yeah, it's ongoing. So I mean, it's not a big deal. If Wellington Wilkins Jr. walked away, that wouldn't be a major deal. But it's nice. I have planned him in to be in that tournament, so it's nice to know that he's still going to be with us. So yeah, this show is going to kind of finish off the feud between Blitzkrieg and Ed Moretti, and then sort of lead into that tournament, which will be the soft reset. So what have we got here? First of all, we're gonna have ECMO make his singles debut against Kid Chaos in one of the matches. Now, I wasn't actually that impressed with ECMO in the 6-man tag match. In fact, his rating was pretty poor. But we'll see. Maybe a shorter match, singles match, will change things a little bit. So he's going to face Kid Chaos in one of the matches. Then we're also going to have a match between our debuting James Storm and Wellington Wilkins Jr. So you can sort of see that I'll give James Storm the win, but I'll do it tainted, I think. But this is very much just introducing James Storm, giving ECMO a victory, another victory, and then, as I say, completing this feud. Oh, that's not right. Every match in the tournament in August is going to count towards the rankings. And we're going to have, obviously, Blitzkrieg defend successfully the RWR North West title. Just going to make this a storytelling match because we are required to have one on every show. So, 22 more minutes to book. I know that one of the angles, obviously, is going to be Bad Crew. In fact, before we go any further, I've got to sort out James Storm and Bad Crew's gimmick. So, James Storm, we don't want him to work babyface. He's going to be a heel. And cowboy gimmick. Do I want a cowboy gimmick? Tempted just to keep it. Maybe not. I don't want him to be like that picture. For some reason, reminds me. I don't even know the character's name, but there's a character in Stranger Things series 2, season 2, who is the brother of Max, Mad Max. He kind of reminds me of him, like just in terms of the general flavor I get from him. And I think he was a really cool heel in the second season of Stranger Things. So I'm kind of going with him. Um, angry, angry. What's the word? Angry heartthrob is what I call him. I don't know. I don't know what the gimmick would be, but that's kind of what I'm looking for. Can't play comedy, legitimate, Weasley, underdog, offbeat, unstable gimmicks. So I think realistic is right for that one. I'm going to go there. So that's what we're going to do for James Storm. Angry Heartthrob is going to be his. Is that even how you spell Heartthrob? Is it double T? I don't know. It's in there now anyway. Not changing it again. Bad Crew, Badass, and Badass. That's fine, but they're also going to come in as heels. And, there's always scope for all of these wrestlers to turn babyface in the end, but like, yeah, I think for now they can be badass heels. That's fine. I'm also going to change their names. What did they get? I was looking this up actually. I went took the dog for a walk earlier, and I was looking up on my phone what they were called, what their individual names are, because I just don't like calling them one and two. Let's just, I don't know, it just seems lame to me. So they were called Dog and Rose, or Jake and Paul. I guess Jake Paul is actually quite funny. Um, I don't know which one's which either. Bad Crew 1. Which one was Bad Crew 1? Bad Crew 1 was Dog or Jake. Which one do you want to call him? I'm going to call him Dog. I think Dog is yeah, better. So he's Dog. And then the other one is Rose or Paul. We'll call him Rose. Dog and Rose. I don't really know why. Rose is a funny name as well. But that'll do. So Dog and Rose are in. So they're gonna have an angle here where they say that they're coming in. Let's go back. Bad Crew say they are coming in to win the Super Summer Tag Tournament, Tag Team Extravaganza next month. I was panicking all the way there, believing that wouldn't fit in, but it did. So that's all good. So we'll put it there, and that's kind of just to build up to the crowd what's coming next month, which is this 2-night tag team tournament. Just going to look at what it also did. So we did have the Ace Steel defeating Sean Stasiak last time around. And of course, we had all the stuff here with these guys. Oh yeah, storylines is something I'm going to look at because this is kind of over now, isn't it? So I'm going to end that story, I think. Those two are still going. I might start a new one, which is Dave Batista versus Buddy Wayne. And this is basically what I'm going to base this on is that well, I don't know now. Yeah, because Buddy Wayne, I believe, does it tell me here? Don't think it does. Don't think it tells me what happens. I think what happened here was that no, it wasn't him, was it? Sorry, I apologize. I know I'm not talking any sense right now. I'm going to change that storyline. What I want is a storyline where who was it that helped him? Who helped? Oh, what is going on? I'm going all over wrong everywhere right now. Who was it that helped uh, Blitzkrieg win the title? Was it ECMO? I think it might have been ECMO who was the one who had the telling blow in the end. So we're going to have Dave Batista versus ECMO here. I'm going to remove him and add ECMO. So we're going to add an angle after the opener, which is Dave Batista. And Batista tells ECMO that he's coming for him after ECMO lost Modest the title last month. This is like the idea being that obviously Batista was being paid by Michael Modest, had been paid to come in here and protect him, and now he was no longer around, and it was, and maybe we even have Batista tell a story, which was that he understood that Michael Morris was going to gift him the title when he left. Still need 10 more minutes on this one. Do I put another match in? I don't think I will. I think I'm just going to extend some bits and pieces. So I think, first of all, that one can go 8 minutes. Then this one can go 8 minutes as well. I think we'll increase the length of that to 11 and the length of that one to 14. So we now just need 3 more minutes. Give that an extra minute. And 2 more minutes. Maybe Blitzkrieg thanks the fans for their support in a very brief kind of promo after the main event. So yeah, I think we haven't got anything that was. I thought we'd changed this to storytelling. Obviously, it didn't work. So now it's in there. So only announcers the problem. So we're not using Ace Steel, Buddy Wayne, or Sean Stasiak for this show. But this is the event. I would say this is a less prestigious event than normal. But saying that, Blitzkrieg obviously is defending the RWR North West title, and it is his first defense. So I don't think that's terrible. So let's go into the show then. And 68 people are in the house for this one. We start with ECMO defeating Kid Chaos in 11 minutes 25 seconds by pinfall with a Samoan drop. Now, ECMO's in-ring performance much better than it was in the six-man tag. He got a 20, Kid Chaos a 17, and a segment rating of 20, which is not too bad. Then after the match, Dave Batista comes out on the kind of entranceway and says to ECMO, you're in trouble now. I was going to be, when Michael Morris was leaving, he was going to give me his title when he left because I'd come in and helped him. And then you cost him the title. And so I want you, ECMO. You better watch yourself, basically. I mean, he would have put it better than I would, I'm sure. A segment rating of 18. Dave Batista struggled when going off script. Then we have James Storm versus Wellington Wilkins Jr., which was won by Storm in 13:35 when he illegally used the ropes for leverage. I do wish the game would mix up a little bit more in terms of the tainted victory thing. Surely sometimes it could be more often, some kind of weapon. Sometimes he could pull the tights, that kind of thing. It doesn't always need to be using the ropes for leverage. I know sometimes they do use weapons, but it just feels like that ending has come up a lot during this save. James Storm is a 21. That's a pretty decent start for him. Wellington Wilkins Jr. an 18. James Storm has debuted his Angry Heart Throb gimmick, and it's got an initial rating of 4. I mean, fair enough. That's a hard thing to convey, but that's what we're going for anyway with James Storm. Then we get Dog and Rose, the bad crew have come out, and they say they are coming in to win next month's Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza, a tournament that's going to take place over 2 nights. Both of their gimmicks have been poorly received, awful and poor. Rose doesn't have the microphone skills to be talking for that length of time. Dog improvised well throughout the segment. Rose was absolutely awful. His improvised dialogue was a complete disaster. That's fine. This was a segment rating of 19, so it wasn't absolutely terrible. Not the best in terms of their gimmicks coming in and not being great. And we don't need to use Rose on the mic again much in the future, so that's fine. They're in, and the important thing is they've introduced the concept of next month's tournament. And then in the main event, Blitzkrieg faces Ed Moretti in what I think must be the best match we've ever seen in this company. Blitzkrieg defeats Ed Moretti in 1929 by pinfall with a Sky Twister press. I cannot say those words in that order. Sky Twister press struggles with that. Anyway, Blitzkrieg makes his first defense of the RWR North West title. Yeah, segment rating of 30, that's really good. And that's largely down to the brilliant Blitzkrieg, who had an in-ring performance of 33, Moretti of 25. The match was still a little too long, and I think that's something we're going to remedy in the next couple of months, because I do envisage us having slightly longer shows. And so after the match, Blitzkrieg celebrates again and gets the microphone and thanks the fans for their support and says that he will be a model champion for RWR. Blitzkrieg was absolutely awful. His improvised dialogue was a complete disaster. So this is a theme at the moment: is nobody seems to be able to talk very well. Um, and Blitzkrieg's gimmick is getting stale as well, so that's something for us to consider too. Segment rating of 20. That's the end of the show. An overall rating of 25. One of the best shows we've done, mainly because of that great main event. Well, I say great. It's still only got a 30 out of 100, but one of the best matches we've ever seen in the company. And we are going to reflect that in Blitzkrieg's praise. I think we'll give Ed Moretti a compliment on his good performance, and I think also ECMO, because he improved a lot from last month. So it feels like we should give him some props for that. ECW saw a title change last night as Tommy Dreamer lost the ECW World Heavyweight Championship to the Sandman at ECW Hardcore TV. So that seems a bit more realistic for ECW, as compared as anyway to Doink the Clown winning the television title. I mean, maybe the original Doink, played by Matt Bourne, would fit in ECW. You know, maybe I'm being unnecessarily picky with that decision. In terms of finance, we are perfectly fine. And let's just have a look at the size. Yeah, we're on 5, and you can see now our popularity is starting to bleed into one or two other areas: Mid South, Midwest. We already had the Southwest, obviously up to 1, but that's good to see as well. Just our promotion just starting to get a little bit of peripheral interest from elsewhere. So let's move on to the end of the current month, end of August. I don't know how much more of this episode there is to go. I've been recording for nearly 30 minutes now, so I think that will be pretty close to the end. In the next episode, there, we will obviously be presenting the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza 2-night tournament. I think we've got 12 wrestlers in now for that tournament, so we need 4 new ones. If I've got some time at the end of this episode, which I might just do, I will start to go on the hunt for those other wrestlers. One of the teams I want is a guest team that will literally be there just for this tournament, and I want them to be a babyface team. Actually, funnily enough, I know that one of the Bushwhackers is now retired in game, but that's the kind of tag team I'm looking for. Somebody with a little bit of name value, but not not nothing major, just enough that it kind of raises an eyebrow and is an extra little nugget of interest for this tournament. So yeah, I want to bring in a babyface guest tag team, and then I also want 2 other wrestlers of the type of which I'm not even decided upon yet, who can come in and also just add to the numbers, because we need 16 wrestlers in the roster for this tournament. As I say, this guest team will only be there for the 2 shows in August, or at least that's my initial plan. And I haven't even planned the tournament yet. I don't know who's going to face it, who. I don't know who's going to win. I don't know what the outcomes of it's going to be. But this is why I like tournaments, because they just give you this chance to reset things. One of the highlights of WWE's Bash of the Beach last night was when Ric Flair popped the crowd with an amazing new move. Here he is, very old and still coming up with the goods. And Sting defeated Ric Flair in the main event. I told you these two were heading for a match. Savage defeated Fatu. Arn Anderson defeated Brian Pillman in a 99 rated match. Nice, 50,000 sellout. Both WCW and WWF seem to be doing pretty well at this point. So let's have a quick look. We've got a minute or so. We need to find a tag team. That's what we need to find. Charlie Haas. Have we got Russ Haas? No. Have we got Shelton? No, we've not got either of those. Not that they would have any kind of name value in 1997, but I just wondered. Just thought that would be reasonably interesting. One man gang. What about Big Boss Man? No. Who? Ray Trailer, right? That's what he'd be under, I assume. No, not there. Maybe Big Bubba. No. Okay. So he's not available either. I'm just going to check my search parameters here. USA to hire, based in USA. I think we'll take that off. I don't think it matters where they're based. I mean, they should at least be in North America. I don't want them outside of. I think we'll just. Yeah, I'll lift that for the moment. Um, Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn is employed by WF on a handshake. Is Bart Gunn? No. So Barker's not available. That would be a shame because I could have brought the smoking guns in. I think I'm going to have to leave it there, and we're going to have a bit more of a detailed look at the beginning of the next episode. But thank you for joining me anyway. And if you've enjoyed it, give us a like, give us a subscribe, all the usual stuff. Check out the podcast, the Random Wrestling Review, and yeah, catch up with us next time on this series as it continues.